Okay, this is the first day of the review. This is question 1. What is 425 expressed as a mixed number in simplest form? Anytime you're taking a percentage and you're making it into a mixed number or a fraction, just put it over 100, then reduce down. 425 over 100 reduces down to 4 1/4. What is 13% expressed as a decimal? Well, I had 13%. I moved the decimal because I'm going from D to P. So I'm moving it 2 places to the right, and you get 0.13. What is 5 2/3 expressed as a percent? Change a decimal and fractions to a percent, you divide by 100. So 5 2/3 divided by 100 equals 17/3 divided by 100. 17/3 times 1/100, because I keep change flip, and these are impropers. And you get 17/300. What is 48/90 expressed as a percent? Round to the nearest percent. 48 over 90 equals percent over 100. That is part over whole. And you get 48 times 100 divided by 90 is 53 1/3%. What is 40% of 360? Is of percent over 100. You're going to do it over and over again. So what is, that's going to be our question. 40% over 100, obviously, and then of is 360. Crisscross divide, you end up with 144. What is 65% of 2,780? Same thing. Is over of equals percent over 100. What? It's going to be question mark, and that's going to be in the is spot. Of is going to be 2,780. Crisscross divide. You end up with 1,807. Make sure you write the is, the of equals percent over 100. It makes these problems so much easier. Find the missing value. 16% of what number is 32? So is of percent over 100. This is our is, and it says is 32. So we put the 32 up here over question mark because it says of what number, of what. 16% over 100. You do crisscross divide. You end up with 200. Of the 300 animals at a shelter, 14% of them are rabbits. How many are rabbits? So you're trying to find 14% of 300. Set it up. Crisscross divide, you end up with 42. Television costs $229 plus 5% sales tax. How much does the television cost, including tax? So we have 100% for the total cost of the television. 100% plus 5% is 105%. Crisscross divide, you get $240.45. The amount of money in a bank is reduced by 95% to 405. How much money was originally in the account? Well, we know that we're working with 5% because you take 100 minus 95 equals 5%. From there, I made a mistake, and we're trying to find, if 405 is equivalent to 5%, we're trying to find what's left over here. Or to say 405 is 5% of what number? And then you end up with $8,100. That one's a tough one. Patty's at college, who earns $1,200 each month. She gets 45% of her earnings from working at the bookstore and 25% of the remainder from babysitting. How much does she receive from babysitting? Well, you got to find what 45% of 1,200 is. So you get $540. Then we take 540 and we find 25% of that. We find 25% of the remainder and you get $135. T-shirt wholesaler has 540 t-shirts on sale. Of those, 60% are white, the rest are black. Customer buys 25% of the white shirts and 50% of the black. How many shirts does the customer buy? First, you got to figure out how many of each type of shirt the person buys. So I took 60% of 540. Crisscross divide, I got 324 white. Then I knew that there was 324 white, so I said 540 minus 324. There's 216 black. Then I came over here and I said, all right, we know that there's 324 white and 25% of them are taken by one customer. So we end up with 81 white shirts. Then I took the 216 from the black and I found 50% of it, which you could just divide by 2 if you wanted, or crisscross divide, you get 108 black. Then I added the two together and got 189 shirts total. What is 35% expressed as a fraction in simplest form? That's 35 over 100. Reduce it down. You get 7/20. 45 out of 150 students are 11 years old. What percent of the students are 11 years old? So I did part over whole. 45 out of 150 equals percent over 100. Crisscross divide, you end up with 30%, or you could reduce down to 30%. What is 2 elevenths expressed as a percent? 2 over 11 equals percent over 100. And then it says round to the nearest percent. Crisscross divide, I got 18.18, which then rounds to 18%. What is 31 or 0.31 as a percent? Move the decimal 2 places to the right because we're going from decimals to percent. And remember, we treat it just like an alphabet. If we're going from the D to the P, we're moving the decimal 2 places to the right. If we're going from percent to decimal, we're going to move it to the left. But this time, we're going from decimal to percent. So we moved it 2 places to the right and got 31%. What is 82% of 900? Is over of equals percent over 100. What is our question mark, over 900. 82 times 900 divided by 100 is 738. What is 45% of 62 kilograms, or 642 kilograms? Again, is over of equals percent over 100. The what is our question mark, crisscross divide, you get 288.9. Find the missing value, 15%, so 15 over 100, of what? So the of is going to be your question mark, is 132, crisscross divide, you end up with 880. Of the 750 songs in a music library, 30% of them are pop. How many songs are pop? You're finding 30% of 750. Crisscross divide, you end up with 105. Stereo costs $346 plus 6% tax. How much does this, or excuse me, how much does the television cost? I don't know because they said stereo and now we're at television. But anyways, 100 plus 6 is 106%. So we're finding 106% of 346. Crisscross divide, you end up with $366.76. A total of 570 people attended the team's first game of the season. 20% more of the people came to the second game. So we have 100% of the first people are already there. Then you add an additional 20%, so we're now up to 120%. Set it up, you're finding 120% of 570. Crisscross divide, you end up with 684. Small business spends 26% of its monthly earnings paying employees and 30% on other business expenses. It invests the remaining 384. So we know that that 384 is going to be whatever's left over. So we do 100 minus 26 minus 32. That's going to be 42% is remaining. So that 40% has to be set equal to that 3,843. Now 384 or 3,843 is 42% of what number? You crisscross divide, you end up with 9,150. The value of a used car in 2008 is 5,650. In 2010, the value decreased to 3,955. Find the percent decrease in the value of the car from 2008 to 2010. Okay, so that's the first part. So the difference, we subtract 5,650 minus 3,955, you get 1,695. You got to subtract the 2. Then from there, we put it over the original cost and set it equal to the percentage over 100. 1,000, and then you crisscross divide, you end up with 30%. Now the next part is if the value is 3,164 in 2010, what percent decrease from 2010 to 2011? So the original price is 3,955. minus 3,164. So the difference is 791. Put that over your original, set it equal to 100%. Set it equal to percent over 100. You would crisscross divide, and you get 20%. What percent of the squares in the model are shaded? I counted them out. It's a 10 by 10, so it's 100. And 95, and then I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are not shaded, so I got 95 out of 100 are shaded, so it's 95%. This one, it says 17 out of 25 plants are flowers. What percent of the plants are flowers? 17 out of 25 equals percent over 100. Crisscross divide, you get 68%. Or you could do 17 over 25, and then I knew that 25 went into 100 4 times, so I multiplied it by 4 and I got 68%. Compound is made up of various elements totaling 70 ounces. If the total amount of lead in the compound weighs 5 ounces, what percent of the compound is made of lead? If necessary, round your answer to the nearest hundredth of a percent. Made a mistake at the rounding part, but from here, 5 over 70 equals percent over 100, because it's 5 ounces out of a total of 70. You get 5 times 100 divided by 70 equals 7.14, and I got to check to see if that goes out further. So I forgot this too, but if you divide the whole thing out, you're going to get 7.142, and that's going to, nearest 100% is going to be 0.714. Express 90% as a fraction in simplest form. 90 over 100 equals 9/10. And express 156 as a mixed number in simplest form. 156 over 100 equals 1 5600ths. Then that reduces down to 14/25. That's it. Hope this helps. Have a good one.